Hello, this is week 5 homework, video number 2. In this topic, I'll talk about the hadith where the Prophet peace be upon him said that two things that a person really regrets or misuses is good health and free time. In those words, not the exact words. Health and good time are two of those things that really is crucial to a person's success and is something that really needs to be taken into consideration when working on long-term major tasks. Well, short-term tasks also. When a person learns how to take good time, take his free time and really transfer it into whatever he's doing, the person will find himself really progressing in life. The Dalai Lama said a very important quote where he said, "A person neglects his health when he's striving for a large sums of money or when he's striving for wealth. When the person gets old, he uses all that money he spent, or he uses all that money that he made to help himself get back into a healthy shape. Because as a young person, he said, I'm going to eat and do whatever I want. As long as I make money, that's what matters. And then he became old, and he said, I became old, and I have all this money, but I'm not healthy anymore. So I really want health because that is something that is very beneficial. Now I need to remind myself before everyone else that starting off early, taking care of yourself, managing your time, and really staying away from distractions is very beneficial and is something that will really propel you in life. One quick story that will prove that it's never too late is about a person that was 55 years old. I forgot if it was a male or a female. I'll say it's a male. So the guy basically decided to retire, and he had all of this free time. And he basically told himself, I want to do something fun, and I want to really manage my time. So he said, I want to do something fun that can really help me fight my fears in life. So he decided to go bungee jumping or jumping out of a plane. He decides to jump out of a plane for one time, and he was very scared, but thankfully he did it. He had so much fun, and he had such an adrenaline rush that he decided to jump out of a plane many more times. And every time he really enjoyed it, and he really benefited from it. To the point where he reached age 65, and he's jumped out of a plane at least multiple hundreds of times. The number was 500 times that he gave. This shows that it is never too late for a person to really face his fears and do something that might be seen as what only young people do or what only healthy people do. He took the stance that, I don't know if this is a good stance, but this is the stance he took. He took the stance that basically, I'm going to pass away anyway, and I might as well live life the way I desire. Now as Muslims, we believe that we should live life in accordance to God's will, and we should try to be servants of God. Many doctors and many health professionals, they say a person needs to do these 3 things to mainly be a person that is healthy. The first is to simply exercise. Exercising is very important to everyday life. A person can eat well and sleep well and not exercise, but the body naturally is made to move and to basically go through some type of activity that increases heart rate. A person can walk, a person can jog, a person, if he likes weights, he can lift weights. He can swim, he can bike. There are even people that like to rollerblade. The second thing is basically focusing on what they eat or their nutrition. Now, there are people in this world that can exercise every day, but if their nutrition is not on point, they will not see the results that they are willing or they want to see. Something as simple as eating fruits and vegetables, eating food that they know is healthy is very beneficial. They don't have to go on extreme diets, or they do not have to go on super fancy nutrition plans that really that really cost a lot of money or cost a lot of time or are very abstract. Most people know what foods are healthy and they should just eat those foods. They should get in the habit of eating the majority of the time, the majority of the week, healthy food, and having 1 or 2 days whenever they want to eat food that they enjoy. The last is sleep. Now, we live in the Western society, we live in a society where sleep is very looked down upon or is not really put as a priority. A person needs a good amount of sleep, not only just to feel better to go through the day, but our body physiologically really, really needs sleep. And a good amount of it. I'm not telling a person to sleep 10 hours, but consistently sleeping for 3 or 4 hours and still feeling good might last for a good amount of time, but there might be health problems as time goes on. I was taking a science class once, and basically we had to do presentations on different health topics. And one person picked a certain infectious disease or a certain type of bacteria or virus that goes to the person. And this lady goes and describes the virus. Its name is MRSA. And we were all sitting in class, we were listening. The presentation got pretty interesting. There's a lot of statistics and good points that the lady brought. And she told us that it is very fatal if a person gets this kind of disease or infection. It is mainly contracted in the hospital due to lack of hygiene. Maybe a nurse or a doctor didn't wash his hands properly, or maybe a certain bed wasn't cleaned properly, and stuff like that. So she later goes on to say that patient X is a good example of how deadly MRSA is. So patient X basically went to the hospital and was treated for a certain type of cancer in the brain. With treatment and different tests, they found out where the cancer was, and they either surgically removed it or they basically took it out or helped the person be cured from that cancer, whether it was surgery or chemotherapy or stuff like that. The person somehow gets better, I forgot how, goes home. A couple weeks, months later goes by, and for some reason the same or very similar cancer was found in the brain again. So they take it to the hospital. It is another process that the person has to go through. Thankfully, the second time came around and the person was free of the cancer again. A third time came up and the person was diagnosed with very similar or the same type of cancer. They treat him. The third time was not different than the first and second. The person gets better. But while in the hospital, the person realizes that they got an infectious disease, and this disease is very harmful and is very bad. So we are talking about a person that has battled cancer 3 times in a very short amount of time, and was cured of that cancer, and gets struck down with this type of infectious disease called MRSA. Sadly, the person passes away due to this infectious disease that was contracted in a hospital due to somebody not controlling their hygiene or taking cleanly steps when it comes to seeing patients. Also, it's possible that since this is a hospital, so many bacteria and diseases and sicknesses are all around, so a person might have gotten it that way. So the lady holds the clicker in her hand, and she clicks the next slide and basically says, patient X is my mom. My mom was a 3-time cancer survivor and was killed by this bacteria. And she said in a very stern voice that we are studying it in class, but there are people that are real out there that really go through this problem. I was struck. I was very surprised and decided to hold my head down a little bit. Yeah. So this is a good story to realize that having good health is very important and taking care of free time is very important. And I remind myself before anyone else to say that it is very important to really take care of yourself, prioritize your time, and really do that which is beneficial. Thank you.